I don't know what to do. I'm not much of a business mogul. I don't know much about business. So, what if God intends to teach you as you go? So you have to ask God, how does He want you to get these things done? Hi guys, welcome back to the podcast and Happy New Year. Tell me, how has the year been for you so far? Has everything been going as planned? How has the goal setting, goal execution, how has it been so far? Personally, on my end, I know that my year has been chaotic. The goal setting, the goals that I have set have not been going as smoothly as I expected because a lot of things just keep coming to choke everything up. A lot of things keep coming to mess with the things that I am doing. But what can I do? I keep re-strategizing and trying again. Of course, tears here and there, but I'm still a strong girl. We go again and again and again until we can eventually get to the point where we can do things excellently, flawlessly, to our prepared taste. I did ask you that question for asking sake. Let me know in the comments, how has 2025 been for you? Is everything going as planned? Has it been a smooth ride? Has it been chaotic? I know that a lot of people have resumed work also. How was the first week of work for you? Was it stressful? Was it seamless? Was it smooth? Was it calm? Let me know all of these things in the comments. And I'll tell you, for me, on Monday, when work resumed on Monday, I thought it was smooth for me. Or it seemed smooth. It seemed really easy. I know that I was quite anxious before Monday, and then when Monday came out, I thought that was actually a breeze. Why was I worried? And then Tuesday came, Wednesday came, and before I knew it, I was exhausted and I didn't want to do any of it anymore. But thank God for strength. I still showed up and I did the best that I could with the strength that I had and also with the strength of God. So in today's episode, I brought my handy notebook because I want to do things excellently. I have not had the time to go over what I want to talk about over and over again. So I had to write them down so that I do not forget important points. We're talking about goal setting and dreaming with God, basically. Planning your life, planning your year with God. Personally, I have this ideology that your year doesn't necessarily start in January. You can start your year in February or March, whatever month. And that's not because you are lazy, but just because life happens. For some of us or for some people, you might have some experiences that may just make it difficult for you to start your year with everybody else. Maybe a heartbreak, job loss, the death of a relative. It could be anything. It could be school, writing exams. These things can prevent you from planning and doing your year perfectly. And there is also the case where you might have planned, but things just happen and then you have to go back to the drawing board and touch up on your ideas. That is perfectly fine. This is why I do not feel like what date is this? 11th of January 2025 is too late to start talking about goal setting. It not really concern me. Now when person wake up, morning break. Hello. So let's talk about goal setting. I don't know where to start from. I tried my best to start and plan the best way possible, but life just happened. So I'm going to start from a random place. The all know Habakkuk, the book of Habakkuk. I need to get my Bible. Turns out it's Habakkuk 2 1 to 4. I will stand my watch and set myself on the rampart and watch to see what he will say to me, and when I will answer when I am corrected, and what I will answer when I am corrected. Then the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain on tablets, that he may run who reads it. We all know that this is the anchor scripture for goal setting. We are often reminded through that scripture that it is not enough that you have an idea of the things that you want to do. It is not enough that you currently know what God is saying to you. It is important that you take it a step further and you write it down. Why? Because the human memory is not as strong as one might think that it is. No matter how strong you think your memory, no matter how capable you think your memory is, it won't always serve. It's either you completely forget that particular goal, vision, dream, or you forget part of it. Even for people who write their goals down, have you ever, maybe at the end of the year or a year later or 2 years later, you look at somewhere where you wrote something and you think, oh my God, I can't believe I wrote that. I totally forgot I did. Or you think, wow, I had this goal. I didn't achieve it and I totally forgot that it was supposed to be achieved. I got distracted by something else. Things like that are bound to happen. You cannot decide to trust your brain so much, trust your memory so much that you fail to pen things down. No matter how strong you think your memory is, write your goals down, write your visions down, write the instructions of God down so that it's always there as a constant reminder. I really like what everyone on social media is doing now, even though it's always been a thing for a lot of people, vision boarding. I think the difference now is that, especially here in Nigeria, people are now taking it a step further and deciding to actually buy boards and put their visions on it. I love it. So you can take it a step further and use pictures. In fact, those pictures will make it more difficult for you to forget those dreams. And I think have you ever had a situation or a case whereby you had written something down in the past, or God had showed you a vision in the past? Let's say he shows you sunflowers and then he says some things at that moment when he shows you sunflowers. Months later, when you see a garden or an image of sunflowers in a random place, you would remember that vision. The same way, you can always attach your goals to an image. Place it where you see it often so that you do not forget. If you write down in a book, maybe you might not remember to open that book, but you can't tell me you forget an image that is literally on your wall 24/7. An image that whenever you wake up, you are looking at it. When you come back to your room, you are looking at it. When you leave your room for work, you are looking at that image. So it's important that you write things down. Much more important than writing, it is very, very important that in your goal setting, you do not just create your goals by yourself. You know how people say, from my mouth to God's ears? Well, what if that thing that you are saying from your mouth to God's ears, what if that thing is not God's vision for you? What if it's not part of what God has planned for you? What if it's not part of what God is saying He wants you to do? Have you thought of that? So you cannot just sit by yourself and decide, these are the things I want to do. No, that's not good enough. God gave you the life that you live now. God owns your life. You live your life in Him. You live your life for Him. So it is important that before you go and plan with that life that God has given to you. I like how someone puts it. It says, you are holding it in trust. You are a trustee. So it's not exactly yours. You are managing the life on behalf of God. Do you understand? So you want to be that person that involves God in everything. You want to be that person that prays, God, what are your steps for me? What are the plans that you have for me? It's like, what are the things that you want me to do? Allow God to direct your path. I personally feel like when God instructs you to do certain things, you're more likely to do those things than the things that you wake up and decide for yourself that you want to do. This is what I mean. You know how we see hack for lazy people? Take this as the lazy people hack. If you are not the kind of person who is proactive, who just gets up and gets things done, it's easier for you to rely on God's instructions to you, because I feel like God has this way of keeping you on your toes, so much so that you do not even have your peace until you do that thing that God has asked you to do. That is, of course, if you keep God in mind, not if you are just one of those persons that just vibe. If you keep God in mind and you are deliberate about Him, it is very, very difficult for you to abandon an assignment that He has given to you. He just has a way of keeping you on your toes. So pray to God. Let God tell you what to do. Now, it's not enough to stop at what God is telling you to do. You have to take it a step further and ask Him how to do it. So God says, start a company. Then you now decide for yourself, to call those your friends that are experts in business, to ask them to partner with you now decide to start calling them to do this business with you. What if God's plan was that He will be your partner in that business? It's just you and Him. I don't know what to do. I'm not much of a business mogul. I don't know much about business. So, what if God intends to teach you as you go? So you have to ask God, how does He want you to get these things done? Sugar? Do you understand? Very good. I've abandoned my notes. I want to go back to my notes. Go back to my notes. Where is my notes? Where is my notes? Okay. Oh yeah, my favorite part. My favorite part. Now, so you've asked God for instructions. He has told you what to do, how to do it, when to do it, where to get it done. How about the next step? What's to do next? The next thing you want to do is to confess those things that God has said to you. Let's go back to the example of starting a business, and God tells you He's going to teach you. You have to keep telling yourself, add it to your affirmations. You say, God has made me an expert in my industry. He teaches me what to do. I am a success in business because of Him. Things like that. You put them in your affirmations and then you start saying them to yourself repeatedly, over and over again. Why do you need to do this? Well, because in the world that we live in today, there is information everywhere, whether you're willing to take it or not. So you will just be sitting by yourself and then you will just swipe and see one video where someone is telling you that you are foolish to not want to start a business with people who are better than you at that business. As long as God has told you that, no, now me and you dwell on that thought. You keep reminding yourself and telling yourself that this is what God has said. This is how He has said He will do it, and I trust Him to do it. So as you execute things that God has told you or God is telling you, meditate on His word, pray continuously, if you've been a Christian long enough, following God's instructions long enough, you know very well that what God is saying today is not always what He is saying tomorrow. For example, God tells you, go to Yaba today. This is where I want you to open your shop in Yaba. Next month, 3 months from now, 6 months from now, God can tell you, you no longer need a physical shop. Close your shop. Go online. There is an audience there waiting for you. God can tell you that. Although we should note that in all of the instructions that God gives to us, know that God is not an author of confusion and He does not contradict Himself. Do you understand? So, if God will give you another instruction different from the first one He gave you, you have to ask yourself, is this in line with Scripture? Number 2, does it really make sense? Is it structured? God won't tell you to leave your job. He can actually, but God won't tell you to leave your job and become stranded. He has something that, like there are instructions that will follow leave your job. Do you understand? So it's not just going to be leave your job and no longer work for the rest of your life. No, it will be something more like leave your job. There is something that I require you to do. This is how you will do it. Also, God will not tell you to leave your job and await further instructions for months and not provide some means of provision for you. So you have to ask yourself if God is the one speaking, or your fears are speaking to your heart. You have to ask yourself and be sure. So that's it basically. So after praying and listening to God's instructions, you write them down. After writing them down, you start to execute. You say them to yourself and you go into action with boldness and audacity, knowing that the one who made the heavens and the earth is the one who has sent you. You don't go cowardly. You go in the name of the Lord. Okay? Okay. Another point from my notebook. Hold fast to the instructions that God has given you. Don't be willy-nilly, basically. So don't say, God is instructing me to do this today, and then because it gets difficult, you're coming up with a backup plan outside of that plan that God has given you. You have to stick to the plan and see it through. As long as God is still saying the same thing about that plan, that this is what you should do, you stick to it. My pastor would say, as long as God has given the instruction, I'm paraphrasing right now, as long as God has given you the instruction, the guidance, the leading, do everything within your power to ensure that you get it done, to ensure that you see it through. Don't make excuses. Okay, I don't have this. Who has this around me? I don't know how to do this. Okay, who do I ask about doing this? These are things that you have to continually think of. Oh my God, this is frustrating my efforts. Okay, I will show up regardless. That's the mindset that you should have. Okay. Now in planning, it is important that you do not merely say, I want to do XYZ. You have to ask yourself, how do I go about doing XYZ? What are the things that I need to do to ensure that I achieve or I do XYZ? Do I need to wake up earlier? Say you used to wake up 7 a.m. before, but looking at how your schedule is now going to look with the kind of dreams or plans you have in mind, do you need to start waking up 5 a.m. or 6 a.m.? Now, if you want to wake up 5 a.m., how early do you need to go to bed? What are the things that you need to put in place to ensure that You wake up by 5 a.m. Do you set daily alarms? These are things that you have to ask yourself. And also, your planning and dreaming and everything in between has to be detailed. So you say, instead of saying, I'm going to start content creation next month, you have to ask yourself, what does content creation entail? Okay, if I'm going to create content, I'm going to have to make videos. I don't have a good camera. Okay, I can borrow Oluchi's camera. In order to be able to borrow Oluchi's camera, Oluchi here is, let's say Oluchi is your sister. Oluchi uses her phone a lot until midnight, so I might have to record at midnight. In order to record videos, what do I need to do? Do I need to write scripts? Do I need to strategize or do strategy for my videos? Do I need to do designs? What are the apps that I need? Do I need a content calendar? What should my content calendar look like? How soon should it be ready? How soon should my videos be ready before they need to be posted? Ask yourself all these questions so that you can plan realistically and don't burn yourself out. I also think that breaking it down this way also increases your chances at success, and it also reduces your ability to procrastinate. You've already said, and you can set it realistically in the sense that you can say between 5th and 10th of January, I'm doing XYZ. Something comes up on the 5th, you know that you have to do it on the 6th. Something comes up on the 6th, you know that 10th is your deadline to do that particular thing. So when you have stuff like that, it makes it almost impossible for you to miss out on your goals. And then when you now tell yourself this has to be done in the month of January, it makes it difficult for you to push it to the next month. You must also teach yourself integrity. If you cannot say a thing to yourself and get that thing done, then how do you want to say something to other people and get it done? Be like your father who says a thing and then he does it. We are created in the image of God, and I like to see it in every sense. If God is creative, I am creative. If God keeps to his word, I keep to my word. This is how it's meant to be. Daily Bible study, daily devotion, exercising, morning walks. Decide for yourself, okay, I need to do A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H daily. I think A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H is a lot. So let's say I need to do A, B, C daily every day. How do I do A, B, C in such a way that it does not clash with every other thing that I do in that day, and they do not also clash with each other? So you can then say Bible study has to happen by 6 a.m. I can take my walks by 6 p.m. Then I can cook for the rest of the week or for the entire day that day by 8 a.m. That's a rough sketch, but you get the idea. Yes. Plan realistically with your personality, the kind of person you know that you are, and the kind of things that you know that you can do. More importantly, plan with God. I think that's all I have to share. I'd like to say a big shout out to Bina. Bina also owns a podcast. It's called Occupy on Earth. You should give her podcast a listen. I wrote down my goals. I know that goals can be like, maybe this entire experience was created by God to show me that it's not always black and white. But I wrote down my goals. I said how I was going to do everything, the deadline for recording my podcast, my content. At the beginning of the month, I got anxious. Then eventually, because of the anxiety, I had to come up with a structure. This is what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, when I'm doing it. I saw that I was still very anxious, so I reached out to Bina because she also recently started a podcast to ask her how to deal with the anxiety. What do I do? And Bina took it upon herself to become my accountability partner. I told her what I wanted to do. I told her that I wanted to listen to podcasts to make myself properly informed so that I do not come here and start to say rubbish. I told her that I wanted to take notes while listening to those podcasts, and then I wanted to record. I was supposed to record earlier this week. I don't remember what day. But according to my calendar, it was supposed to be 5th of this month. It was supposed to be on the 5th of this month, and my first video to introduce the podcast episode was supposed to go out yesterday, which was 10th of January. But a lot happened and distracted me. But Bina kept on reaching out to me, even on days when I took hours to respond because I was crazy busy. Bina didn't give up. She kept on encouraging me. So, Bina, if you are listening to this, which you most likely are, I'm very grateful. Thank you so much. Thank you for the encouragement. It meant a lot to me because I'm not used to asking for help. I'm used to being the one that gives help. I'm used to being the expert. So it warmed my heart. It felt really good to be helped by someone. I think with that, I would like to add, it's okay to re-strategize if things do not go the way you have planned. But one thing you should not do is give up. You should not quit. Try again. Rewrite the plan. Reschedule, but do not quit. Thank you guys for listening to the podcast. I hope to see you again next month. Bye.